Welcome to Greenville Media. I am at the studios, Tommy's Plumbing Studios, 423-620-7522. Ian is out on the road, and tonight we're going to discuss mobile workforce. How you doing tonight, Ian?
I'm doing good. I've been busy. That's why I'm still on the road, and I guess that's appropriate for our topic tonight. Of course, I chose this topic last week. I didn't know I'd be on the road tonight, so apologize to everybody.
Premonition.
Yeah, prior planning prevents piss poor performance, something like that. I don't know how that applies to this situation, but yeah, I figured I'd talk about at least some of the tools I use and I know of for mobile, working from out in the field, whether it be from your laptop or your phones or your tablets or what have you, and methods and not just the programs, but also how we use them and how they integrate so that you can have access to all of your information from anywhere, and that you have somewhat of a backup built in, and it's all secure and so forth. So I guess
Well,
I don't know what.
I
Go ahead.
remember years ago that go to my PC was a big thing, and you don't hear much of that lately.
Oh no, you still hear a lot about it. Go to my PC. Got bought by Citrix several years ago, and it's still there, a major player in the remote desktop is what they do. You can put a little app on your phone or your laptop, and you can connect to your work, your computer at work or home or what have you. And it's a decent tool. Basically, just let you get like I said, remote access from the internet. Of course, you have to have internet access for this stuff to work. You download a little app on the computer you want to access and set up some security for it and different rules, and away you go. And so you'll log into the thing, and it'll be just like you're sitting at your work computer or whatever computer you want to access remotely. That's really cool, and it's a simple that's the simplest way to do it. If you just need to get access to your office computer or what have you, as long as you've got internet access, which is pretty easy nowadays, to get 4G or at least 3G coverage out there, and you can get online and access your stuff. But I'm talking more about tools that it doesn't matter what platform you're using. So you can be on a laptop, you can be on your iPad or your Android tablet or your iPhone or your Android phone. I've never had an Apple device, an iPad or an iPhone, so most of my experience, of course, is with Android. Most of the tools I'm going to mention are work on both Android and PC and Apple iPad stuff and iPhones. For example, like I've said several times, Dropbox. Dropbox works on everything. It'll work on BlackBerry, iPhone, Android, PC, and Mac. It's a program that you download and you install on your computer, and it gives you folders. It basically gives you cloud storage that's really easy to access because it puts folders on your computer, and anything you put in those folders will get uploaded to the cloud. And then, say you use, say like you and I were going to share files, Jack. I would send you a link to share. I would share a folder in my Dropbox, and I would invite you to use it. I'd invite you to join that shared folder. Of course, that would mean you would have to have Dropbox, and then once you have Dropbox installed and you accept the invitation to the shared folder, anything you or I put in that folder will automatically get synced between my computer or anything that any of my devices that I've installed Dropbox on. And so that way, like say you and I were working on some story, or trying to cover something, when we had files that we had to transfer back and forth, instead of emailing them back and forth and keeping track of which version, which file, which version of the file do I have. Say we've updated a Word document, and I update it, and you update it, and we save it to Dropbox, and that way we both have the same file. See, so that, and you can do it with multiple people. It doesn't have to be, just two people. You can do it with groups, work groups. I've done it with school projects. It's a great project tool. I know a lot of offices that use Dropbox to share files between their locations, or their mobile workforce already. And that's I also, that's how I use it, because Dropbox will have, like I said, works on everything. So, and it also integrates, especially in mobile. Dropbox works with, especially on Android, works with so many different programs, like your File Explorer program. The program I use on my phones and my tablets for Office documents. I use Office Suite Pro is what I use. It was a $15 app, and then I can put it on my phone and my tablet. I don't have to pay for it twice. I think that that's the same on Apple. It didn't always used to be the case, but the Office Suite program, and then the program itself has Dropbox integration. So I don't have to launch Dropbox, copy the files down, then launch Office Suite, work on the file, work on the Word documents or the PowerPoint or whatever it is. I can just go to Office Suite on my phone or my tablet, and there's a selection in there where I can choose remote files. I can do Google Drive. It doesn't have to be just Dropbox. It can be Google Drive. I don't know if they do SkyDrive yet. They do a bunch of other ones, Sugar Sync. There's several cloud storage solutions similar to Dropbox now that are available, but the ones that so anyways, Office Suite will work with a bunch of them, but in this case just Dropbox. And then there I just I open my files directly from Dropbox in Office Suite, modify them or whatever, save, and it saves them to Dropbox for me, and away it goes. And so then I don't have to worry about saving it, syncing my phone when I get back, back to my office, transferring files back and forth. It's already done when I get back there. I can fire up my computer, access the file from Dropbox, and it's already there waiting for me. So you can see where that's extremely helpful. The integration part is really nice, and since Dropbox is pretty much the industry standard in cloud storage and cloud storage sharing, most of the major software players out there will integrate with Dropbox.
Yeah.
And then the other,
I'm fixing to put a link on the Greenville Media Facebook page for Dropbox if anybody wants to use it now. Now, I know years ago that you discussing all platforms can use this. I remember years ago that if you had something, 9 times out of 10, if you had it on PC, it wouldn't work on Mac.
Right. Yep. But now, if you have serious software, then the problem used to be because the Apple platform and the PC platform were so different. They were different hardware-wise, and they were different, software-wise, obviously. Now the hardware is all the same, and the software is not. So it makes it easier for them to port them being the program creators, the people that made the programs, to port their programs to both PC and Mac. It's a whole lot easier now.
Well, it's up. The Dropbox link is up on the Facebook page if anybody wants to use it. I use it very rarely, but I do use it, and it's simple once you understand it. It took me probably about 5 minutes to understand, the syncing of the files on the computer, but it's you spend 5 minutes and you'll learn it easily.
Yeah, the Dropbox website's got a lot of videos, that show you pretty much exactly how it works. And yeah, if you know how to copy files between folders on your PC, then you pretty much know how to use it. It takes a little bit of practice, on your mobile device and the methods to use it, because the way you use it on your desktop computer is completely different than the way you use it from your mobile device. I also, on my website, greenvillet.com, there's a helpful software link you can find in the lower right. It's got links to Evernote and Dropbox also there, if anybody wants to find it. Because Evernote is the next program I was talking about. These 3 programs, Dropbox, Evernote, and Office Suite, are my major productivity tools that I use, because I'm always on the road, unless I'm, usually only at night am I back at my office, but usually during working hours I am out and about, because that's my business model. So
let me stop you right there. You're always, and I've brought this up before, but I think it will go great with tonight's show. Is what now? I've lost track of thought. Is the card readers where you can accept credit cards by phone, Square, and
Yep.
what's
Square and Intuit's got one. Yeah, there's several. There's quite a choice of those scanners out there.
I was at Walgreens the other day and saw one, and I'm really thinking about getting one just to accept payments easier here at Greenville Media.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it takes a couple days to process. I mean, as with any credit card service, and then I think now they're down to about 2% per swipe is what the mobile ones will charge you. So whatever the whatever the amount that you're charging, they'll charge 2% of it.
So that's $2 on 100, then, right?
Yeah. So it's still a better deal than going to an ATM most places. If you go to an ATM that's not your bank, so I've seen some charges as high as $2, $3, $5 depending on where you're at. So I don't use any of the credit card swipers myself, but I know a lot of people do, and they work very well. But see, that's just a lot of people, these smartphones, they're more like a computer that you carry around in your pocket that you also can make phone calls on, is the way they are now. And I remember, back when they started putting cameras on cell phones, and I was against it when it happened. I was like, you'd go in to get a phone, like, oh, this one takes this many pictures and does this so, and I was like, that's great. Does it make phone calls? And now, you can't get a cell phone without a camera on it at least, So there's a lot of power in these mobile devices. The iPhone, it's capable. I've got the Samsung Galaxy S3 is what I use. The screen's a bit large, but it gives me enough rooms that I can actually do. I can't write an entire paper or proposal or something on my phone or my tablet, not comfortably anyways, but it could happen. Usually it's to, I use my phone, I'll check, like I've got notes on all my clients, it's all encrypted and it's all in my Dropbox. So I can have one copy of all of my client files, and I'll open them up and I can add, notes, like if I change certain things in their network, things like that, passwords and whatnot. I can have one place where they're stored. And then since they're in the cloud, they're already kind of backed up. I say kind of because you're at the mercy of the cloud. And I know that the way that people that have cloud services, the way they market them, say, oh, they're in the cloud, you don't have to worry about it. It's distributed everywhere. So it's backed up itself. But we've seen some services go down. I mean, Netflix went down a couple weeks ago for a little while because the Amazon S3 service went down. And that's kind of getting into a few layers. Amazon actually is one of the largest data center providers there are, but they don't market their product to consumers. They market to other companies that need, specifically Amazon offers cloud storage, distributed cloud storage. So they've got big data centers throughout the country, and they give a really good rate for a certain amount of gigabytes of data. And then what people will do is have their website doesn't run on the Amazon servers. Their website would access storage space on the Amazon servers in the background, call it in the back end. So it's nothing that the end user would ever see. But Amazon's one of the largest, and so when they have trouble, and they do from time to time, like, well, of course they did during Hurricane Sandy, they had a little bit of trouble. And then I don't know why last week. It wasn't just Netflix, it was Verizon, it was a whole lot of companies that use that Amazon service. So you're kind of at their mercy. Even though they work very, very well, 99% of the time they work, there's still that. Some people, myself included, you have that that to worry about. And I say kind of backed up also, not just because, cloud services aren't always 100% reliable, but because any IT professional will tell you if it's not backed up in 3 different places, it's not backed up. Okay. And that doesn't mean you've got 3 different CDs sitting there, on on your desk. That means you've got it on, maybe a CD there, maybe an external hard drive that you keep somewhere else, and then, and then another backup somewhere else that's somewhere off site. Because if your backup is kept on site, that's not a backup. And by on site, I mean at your office, in the same computer that the data originated from. So it's more of a method than it is a term. People say, "Oh yeah, I backed it up," and all it did was write a file to their hard drive and on the original computer, that they've only gotten. That's not a backup. It's just an extra copy.
Well, we're going to take a short break, and then, that's one thing I want to discuss with you is the outages of the Verizon phones during the snow last week.
All right, yep.
All right, don't forget our friends at Lynn Pitt Construction, 423-823-1960. Check out their website at www.pitcrew.com. That's PITTCREW. Great people. I've met them. They're part of the Greenville media family. And I just don't consider them advertisers, folks. I consider them part of the family. As we build, we all build as one. And, even though we're separate individuals and separate businesses, I believe in building as a group because as we help each other, we help the community. So give them a call if you're needing help with construction. All right, Ian, let's discuss now was the plain and simple, was the snow the cause of the outages last week?
For the most part, yes. From what I've read, it's not uncommon for Verizon to have problems with their 4G network. It was just the 4G network that was having the problems. If you could get your phone to kick down to 3G, you were fine. Because you remember what even day was that? Was that Thursday that it came down hard?
Yeah, because it was Thursday because I canceled the overtime show at the Hyperion because I didn't want anybody getting hurt driving up there.
Right. And those were big old fat flakes falling down. We had some heavy, heavy snow. And 4G, I can look it up what frequency 4G works on, but 4G is a digital signal, and so just the same as like your satellite dishes satellite TV will go out, during heavy, heavy rains, because it's a digital signal and it can be blocked, unlike analog. Our traditional analog TV signals, maybe we'd get some snow, but the signal would still kind of get through. But that's just the nature of the difference between digital and analog communications. Digital, since everything is transferred to bits, before it's transmitted, if you don't get a few of those bits, it doesn't deal with it as well as analog would.
Oh, and now my mom and dad have satellite, and people. I saw a lot of people discussing, their satellite being out over the weekend because of the snow, and people said to go out there and scrape off the snow and then spray cooking spray on it, and the snow wouldn't stick. And lo and behold, I did that, and it worked great for my mom and dad.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So I'm looking up here. LTE in North America works at 700, 800, and 1700 and 1900 megahertz. So the 1700 and 1900 megahertz, that's getting pretty high. That's almost, that's we've talked about Wi-Fi and your microwave death cannon, microwave oven death ray gun. Those work. That works at 2.4 gigahertz. So we're pretty close. Or no, wait, that's not even close at all, is it? Yeah, it is. 2.4 gigahertz is 2400 megahertz. Yeah. So the higher the frequency, the easier it is to block, just by obstructions. Just the same as if you're on the boulevard and you hear the car thumping the system down there, you'll hear coming down the road, you'll hear the bass before you hear the treble.
Oh my God, I haven't thought of that in years.
Yeah, but but you can relate. You know what I'm talking about, right? You hear the boom, 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 and then the music. Then as it gets closer, you start hearing the rest of it.
You know,
That's because
people.
low frequencies travel easier with lower power. That's why CB radios can go much further than say like your little personal walkie-talkies because they're much lower frequency.
I remember people buying CDs that all it was bass music to make their cars thump.
Yep. I've got a few of those. I did a lot of car stereo competitions and stuff. I got a few trophies, mostly from sound quality, not from loudness. Even though I tried as best as I could. Yeah, I spent a lot of time in studying audio theory and practicing it too. I mean, I don't know how much money I spent on stereos, putting them in my vehicles, and it was beautiful. I kind of miss it a little bit.
Oh, it gave me a headache. Well, you know, when we sitting here talking, and I forgot to give out the number for, we're starting to get, we've gotten, what is it? I've lost track, about 10 new likes today on Facebook. So if anybody wants to call in and discuss on any show, that it's always the same number. It's 423 area code 972-4444, and we'll be happy to take your call and on any show. So I thought I'd throw that number out there because we tend to start talking and forget everybody.
Right. But yeah. Oh, don't let me forget. We got kind of sidetracked on the cell phone service going down. But Evernote is the other program I need to talk about. I know I've talked about it before, and I've got it covered. I think in an article or a future article coming on my website. But Evernote is a cloud-based note-taking program. It's not a system of taking notes, but it works on everything. It works on, like I said, or maybe not BlackBerry, but at least iOS and Android and PC. And much like Dropbox, you can, instead of it being file storage, it's note storage and makes all of your notes searchable. Then by notes, I mean you can do text, you can do pictures, you can do audio, and you can do, and each note doesn't have to be just like an audio clip or a picture. I can fire up Evernote on my phone. There's a button that I put on the front screen. It's an Evernote bar, and I can launch directly to do a text note or directly with a picture. You take the picture and then you can tag it. You can also have it geotag, meaning it'll put the GPS coordinates on there on the note. So say like you're a realtor or something and you're out taking pictures of a place, of course you've got the address, but there's things you can do with the geotagging and Google Earth so that you can view your geographical spread out of your notes if that's the way you use it.
Did you see? Did you see the guy, the co-founder of Google, was spotted in New York on the subway wearing the Google glasses?
The Google glasses, yep. He's the only one that's got them. The Google glasses are supposed to be released this year, but that's what we talked about that. Shoot, like our first or second show, I think. Yeah, augmented reality. Remember we were talking about that? Yep. That's what the Google glasses are supposed to be. But instead of right now, it's you pull your phone up and point it at something, and it uses your camera and your phone, and it shows you. You're viewing what the camera sees on your phone, and the phone will put information about what you're looking at over the picture. And so the Google Glasses does the same thing, except for it putting it on your phone, it puts the information up on the glasses so you can read it in a heads-up display type thing, which nobody has actually been able to say what the Google Glasses actually do. They've been pretty tight-lipped about that, but, I mean, it could be really cool.
I cannot wait until virtual reality.
What about it?
Well, I mean, like these, these high-tech sci-fi movies, virtual reality.
Oh, right, like Lawnmower Man type stuff. And yeah. I mean, that stuff's around. You can do that with a home PC. I think it's just, it kind of, it was like a fad that kind of blew over. Yeah. There are lots of uses for virtual reality. I haven't seen very many games or entertainment type stuff that has actually caught on like the level that an Xbox that has or a PlayStation has. But like I know virtual reality is used. Manufacturers use it to like the auto industry, for example. They'll um, use virtual reality. Well, pretty much it's CAD, but then they'll take all their CAD drawings and they can assemble all of the individual parts, that they've designed on the computer and assemble them all and view them, on the screen. Or some of them have what they call visualization rooms, where all four walls and sometimes the ceiling and the floor are a screen, so that you can immerse yourself. Like say you're designing a big, a car, you can see what it looks like to be inside the thing before you actually make it. And so, I mean, and in that sense, is that's virtual reality, because it's virtual. It's not real. It's based all off of CAD drawings.
All right. Well,
But
let me rephrase then. Interactive virtual reality.
oh, okay, all right. So like kind of like
Like,
Facebook, but instead of going on and just reading stuff, you go walking around, or what? No,
oh, what was that? The
Second Life.
Capricorn. Was it Capricorn? The offshoot of Battlestar Galactica, where they
I
would
don't know.
it was it was a show something like that. Where I forget, that may not be the name of it, but they would put the glasses on and they looked like the Google glasses, and you would like go into a virtual reality and you could talk to people, and it was like a whole virtual world that people connected to.
Yeah, I mean it's like Second Life. Do you ever see that?
Yeah.
Where you are instead of having your avatar, which is your character, yeah, you could just put on the glasses, and then your character could probably still have that view, but instead of running around in first person, watching your avatar run around in the virtual world, it's more, you put on the glasses, and you see it in 3D and run around. I'm not sure. Yeah, I guess there just hasn't been a demand for it in that sense. Because like I said, they tried a lot back, say 10 years ago, I want to say, or even longer, maybe 20 years ago. They tried a lot to do it. That's back when it was popular, and like Lawnmower Man was out, and Pixar Studios just started up. So, Toy Story or Jurassic Park, was the first huge CG um, movie. So if you remember back when that was doing realistic graphics, or at least having graphics, the power to do virtual reality, the graphics that virtual reality requires, was a big holdup back then. And now we don't have as big a holdup with that. But
I heard they're coming out with a new Jurassic Park movie too.
oh, are they? Huh. Interesting. Didn't they already have three of them? I
Yeah,
think.
it's this one's supposed to be 3D, and it's supposed to launch a whole new series.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the whole 3D thing. That's they're really jumping on that to re-release stuff and make stuff just to be a 3D movie. I haven't seen any movies in 3D. Have you?
No, 'cause I can't view 3D. It gives me a headache.
Yeah, yeah. I went when we lived in. See, I was in Seattle, and on the waterfront, they had a 3D IMAX theater there. But this was, shoot, I was in middle school, so 1992 or something like that. I want to say it was. So yeah, 20 years ago. I mean, and I haven't, and I was with you then. If you weren't in the right spot, to in the theater, the 3D would look weird, and yeah, it kind of gave me a headache. I'm with you on that. But I was just working on a customer. They got one of those LG LCD TVs, and it's got 3D enabled, and it had the smart app, all the smart apps built in. So we jumped on YouTube, and YouTube had 3D content, and there was multiple layers. I was pretty impressed, because I've been skeptical about it before, but looking at the offerings that they've got at CES this year that just got over, looks like 3D is going to go away, actually. So, that's the way technology goes. We used to have HD, high def DVDs. Now we have, then Blu-ray, and HD DVDs fell off the wayside. Now we just have Blu-ray. So,
Yeah,
and that's the nature of it, though.
yeah, and they're coming out with those new super high def televisions, and
Yep, the 4K resolution ones like we were talking about.
Yeah.
And actually, it's not resolution. It's frame rate is what it is. So
Well,
the 4K, they normal movies are in 24 frames per second, and these 4K is 48 frames per second. So there's twice as much film, or now we don't use film anymore, actually. So
we're going to take a little break, and then we'll get back to mobile workforce.
yes, Evernote.
Don't forget Realty Executives of East Tennessee, Reggie Jones. Give them a call today, 423-639-3465. Check out their website at greenville-homes.com. If you're looking to buy, sell, or house, or trade a house, the barter system is going good these days. I use a lot of barter, and it's helping each other out. But I don't know about the barter system for Realty Executives, but you can give it a try. Give him a call today, and he'll be more than happy to help you out. And, as always, every advertisers is great people. And if you want to advertise on Greenville Media, give us a call at the business line at 423-588-9557, and I'll be able to give you all the info on that. But, Ian, let's talk about Evernote.
Okay, yeah, because I got you owed me in the middle there, and that's fine. So I was talking about how there's different methods that Evernote uses to create notes. So you can take a picture, you can do audio, you can do text, and you can, when you go to save your note, you can add tags. So if it's for a certain project, you can tag it by the project. In my case, like say I'll make a note about some piece of hardware, and I'll tag everywhere that I think it might be applicable. So when I go back to search my notes, and that's where Evernote really is awesome, or among other things, you can search all of your notes. And I forgot this part. This part's really cool. If you take a picture of a document or something, or if the picture that you took has text in it, Evernote will scan that picture and make any text in that picture searchable. For example, I think I've used this example before, but it was so cool. I was up in Harlan a couple months back for a job, and while I was there, I went by, through downtown, and they got a big Harlan coal miners monument, and it's got, many hundreds of names. It's got to be on there. And I took a picture of it with my Evernote. It took a couple days for it to scan it, but eventually I could search names, and it would find them in the picture, and it actually highlights where in the picture that text shows up. So, that's extremely useful. So a lot of people, they'll take pictures of contracts, receipts, invoices, all kinds of things, and then it becomes, the text on that page becomes searchable in your notes. So it's a way to just throw all your ideas into one place. Like I know a lot of people, myself included, I've got a little short, legal pads on my desk. I've got a couple of them actually, with a pen sitting next to it, because I'm just so used to that. But so I've had to train myself that instead of writing it down on that pad, put it into Evernote, because that pad, unless I take it everywhere with me, it's not much use unless I want to look up something when I get back to my office, wherever that pad is.
Well, that brings up a question, and you may not have the answer to this because it's kind of a legal question, but, because, working at the sheriff's department as long as I did is, we'd keep notepads in our pockets, and they were legal documents as long as we didn't, write stupid things in them or personal things in them. If we gave so-and-so a towel, or, I've got to do this later or something like that for the job. Mm-hmm. And as long as we didn't, rip a page out, it was a legal document. Well, now would something but even though you can't use a cell phone in jail anymore, but would something like that be considered a legal document?
I don't know, but you could. It does do a timestamp every time you make a change to the note, because you can go back to a note, and I'll do this too. You can go back to it and add stuff to it, and it will do a timestamp on there, and that might, like I know emails can be considered legal evidence mostly. that as documentation because of the time stamping and whatnot. You can look at the header of the email and see where it came from and verify, that it's not fraudulent. So I don't know if Evernote is that way, but I mean, you can email yourself some notes and do that. That's real easy to do because it'll let you can share your notes. I've done it with you before, on the show notes. I'll do up the notes in Evernote, and then I can just share the link with you, and you can, just like you saw, you can download the entire note and view it. You can't, if you had Evernote, you could also modify that note and save it, or I can share notebooks with you and do it that way. But to answer, well, I kind of got away from your question. I don't know is the answer, I guess, for that one.
I always told them they were way behind in the times because we had to write in logbooks and pen and paper and
Mm-hmm.
which the state requires. You got to keep copies of actual copies instead of digital copies. But I
Right.
always thought it was a good idea if we had computers that we could log into and make the note and it actual timestamp it.
Right. Well, once it's in the computer, it's a whole lot easier to search. It's a whole lot easier to mine that data for if you're looking for trends, things like that. Once it's all in the computer, it's a whole lot easier to manipulate. And so that's the whole point behind Evernote, really, is it's all searchable. The other thing I didn't say about it is a note. You can download. There's an app or there's a program you can put on your desktop, so Apple or PC, and of course it syncs just like Dropbox. It syncs your notes between your devices, be it another laptop, tablet, or phone, with your account. So any Evernote program you've installed and have assigned to that account, they'll sync the notes. So on the desktop one, you make a note, you can attach files to that note. So say I've got a video diagram or a picture or a Word document or Excel spreadsheet, I can attach all of that. I just drag it over, put it on the note, and there's that information. And that whole file gets attached to that note. So it's a nice way to, if you save that file in, okay, but it gets away from what I was talking about with Dropbox. You can attach that file to that note, but that file will always stay the same in Evernote. It's not like Dropbox where if you modify it, it automatically syncs around and gets updated. But that's still really cool. So for a project, and I've had projects like this. I've had photos that I've attached to notes, video diagrams, or you name it.
Now,
Everything I need for that project all in one place.
I've asked this
And
before, but dealing with what we're discussing tonight, I thought I would bring it up again. Is do you think as each day passes, are we adding to a digital time capsule?
yeah, that's some people do that. They collect like Twitter does it. And there have been people that Twitter just released where you can download all of your tweets that you've ever made, but there's people that actually collect tweets. They've got their own programs that, collect tweets and then they can keep them in time. But I don't think, in general, Facebook does it too, but overall, I don't think that most of the stuff that we create, for the internet, like your web page, and you might change it, or like you did a complete facelift of your entire website. So is your old website still out there somewhere? The answer is actually yes. It's Google caches pages. Cache, that's CACHE. It caches. It takes a picture of and stores some old web pages. So sometimes if there's a page that's taken down, because the internet is so easy, it's so I want to say nebulous, but that doesn't sound right. It's just so dynamic. It's always changing that, what was there yesterday or what is there right now has no guarantee of being the same later. So, but the time capsule thing, there are people that do that collect digital data. The Library of Congress was doing it. They were collecting every single tweet and then keeping that. So in that sense, Twitter, all the tweets that's ever been done, are all saved by the Library of Congress, and then in that sense, we've got a time capsule of that.
I mean, just think about it. If you could see the things people were doing and talking and discussing about 100 years ago, it would be amazing.
Yeah, in their everyday, every the day to day, it's easier in history. It's usually easier to pick out the big events, but what about day to day life? The regular folks. And there's actually been in archaeology. I know in Egypt they found an area out in the desert that was used as a landfill, and so they're doing archaeological digs on landfills and being able to go through and see that. Because I mean, what better viewpoint in the history of everyday life other than people's trash?
Yeah, I mean,
When you
it's,
think about,
you
you
know,
think about that, the environmentalists have said that the stuff we throw away, even a piece of paper, and paper is biodegradable, but it could still be 100 years or more before it degrades in the landfill in the plastic bag, the plastic garbage bag and stuff like that. People are already doing it in New York too. I know that they drill core samples down, and they'll figure out what era or what the time frame is of the layer that they're at when they find newspapers. It's pretty cool.
well, they may find my lost city one of these days, but we won't get on that subject.
Yeah, your conspiracy theory, or just your crazy theories. I don't even know if they really should be called conspiracies. They're just yeah, your odd theories. Like the last episode, I went and I looked up a couple of the things because the two things you had mentioned to me I had never heard of, or the two or three things you mentioned to me I'd never heard of before. So I was piqued my interest a bit, and I had to go look into it. It is that Denver airport is it is a bit creepy, all the murals and stuff, and I can see where people would get the idea that it's got all these things, but who knows? I mean, I don't know. I'm not one usually to subscribe to oddball theories, but I'm glad there are people that are keeping an eye out there for things like that.
But tell me, if this is a good question to ask, is what, and probably I know the answer probably, but if there's only one thing you could take with you, if you like when you walk out the door, to go to your work or to go to any job, in general, what would be the one thing that you would need to take?
Well, for me, the one common device that I take to every job is my phone. I always have my tablet with me, but I don't always need it, and I always have my netbook with me, but I don't always need it. Um, what I always do need is the information that I can access with my phone. Be it I need to look up something. Say the computer I'm working on is not getting online, so I can't use that computer to search Google, for whatever problem I need to search for. And then also, like I said, I need to get to my Dropbox, my client files for notes on, certain whatever pertains to that customer. Um, and because my phone, is like I said, a portable computer with wireless access everywhere. Well, pretty much everywhere. That's what I need. I can also use my phone, like I said, like we were talking about, go to my PC earlier. Um, I can use my phone to remote into somebody else's computer and see their screen on my phone, and manipulate the computer, from my phone. If I had to, I don't do it very often because it is kind of a pain, but in a pinch, I can do it.
Well, I remember years
Um,
ago I would play with that, go to my PC, and I'd be at work and I had it hooked up to my home computer, and back then it was so slow, it was just annoying. I mean, this was, I'd say, 7, 8 years, 9 years ago.
right. Well, there's a lot of information going over your internet connection in that case. Two internet connections, whatever internet connection you're using in your remote location, and then your internet connection to the computer you're trying to connect to. Those are very important. And we were talking about a few episodes back also why when you get the internet service, it'll say 10 megs down, 3 megs up, and it's always more. The download is always higher than the upload, and the reason and we discussed that, but the more that you upload, the more it hurts your download speed. And so you kind of, if you already have a slow internet connection, you can try to remote in. I mean, there is a lot of information coming over that pipe in real time, so it can get backed up if you've got a slow connection on either end.
Well,
You know.
would it if you're doing that through Go to My PC and you're looking at your computer screen, if you're at work and you're
Hmm.
on, and you're hooked up to your home computer and you're looking at your home computer screen, is it sending the entire drive of that computer to you?
No. It's just sending the video of your screen over the internet to wherever it is you're viewing it from, and then it also sends the keyboard strokes and the mouse back and forth, and then so anything that's opened on your computer, say you open up a picture on your computer, I mean it's got to transfer that data, but no, it's not transferring the entire drive. It's just you're remotely accessing your computer over the internet is what's happening. You can transfer files between your remote computer and the one you're connecting with. You can do that, but it doesn't automatically do everything. No, because that would be kind of counter. That would be counter to the intent of the
Well,
program.
I see what you're saying now is basically it's just a camera and you're looking at something until you click on something, then it will show you something else. Is that
Right,
yeah?
exactly right. And all the work is done on your computer. So say you need to get to, whatever your systems that you have at work. Like I know there's a lot of places they have their own software that they use for bookkeeping and stuff like that. So to keep from, you just log into it, and then there all the work is done on your computer, that you're connecting to. So that's why I can connect to my computer and use things on it, over on my phone, because all the work is being done on the computer. And just like you said, it's just like a camera. It's just showing you the results, which is much easier to transmit over the internet
Now,
than to try and transfer everything and for whatever your device you're connecting with to do the work.
now the speeds and the technology of the computers wouldn't really have much to do with it as the internet connection, right?
Well, it can. If you have a slow computer, then yeah, the computer's still going to be slow even when you connect to it, on Go to My PC.
Yeah, like
But
if you're
say you
using
have a decent machine, and it's plenty peppy, when you sit at it, if you notice that it's slow, what you'll see when you connect to it on Go to My PC, if you have a slow internet connection, is it takes a long time for the screen to refresh. Or you'll move the mouse and Go to My PC, it'll have a little dot that shows where the mouse should go, and then you'll see in a couple seconds the mouse cursor catch up to your cursor, and that's the result of slow internet connections. And then if the computer was slow, it would just take a long time to do stuff, just like it would if you were sitting in front of it.
well, Ian, you want to let everybody know about yourself and your business?
Yeah, well, I'm Ian Bible. I own Greenville IT here in Greenville. I do on-site business and residential work. A lot of people ask me, do you fix computers? Yes, I fix computers. I fix laptops. But that's just the tip of the iceberg of what I do. IT, of course, stands for information technology, and then so anything that you use to access information of any kind, pictures, data, or pictures, documents, video, what have you. I deal with the systems, meaning the network, the servers, if in those cases, the PCs, anything that you use, the entire system that you use to access whatever information you want. That's what I do, and make sure that it's backed up and that it's easy to use and all that stuff. So it's tough to explain, what it is I do, but fixing computers is, like I said, just the tip of the iceberg. You can find my website, greenvilleiT.com. You can find all my contact information there. And if you go to my website, you can find links to my Facebook for the company and Google Plus, I believe, and Twitter. You can find all those on the front page there, and you can follow along. From time to time, I'll post, helpful things as I get time. Right about now, I haven't been able to do a bunch because I've been really busy. And sometimes the last thing I want to do when I get home is write an article, but I get them out there every once in a while.
Yeah, everybody check out greenvillit.com, and you can even have links to our shows on your website.
Yep. I put up a post last week that links back to the shows, to my shows page on greenvillemedia.com, and also to the front page, so they can listen to whatever is playing at that moment. So I like how on your page you put whatever the latest show is what's going to queue up on the player, and then you can also choose other shows from that player, or you can hit the shows page and pick the one that you want and get all the ones from the past.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that I'm working on, and I may need your help with, is I'm working on getting the show to air on our TuneIn app, where we play music all the time. The show will be live on that TuneIn app when we do the show.
That would be nice. That'd be really nice.
I'm working on it.
Go ahead.
Oh, I said I'm working on it, and I should have it done in a week or two.
Oh, now you've assigned a deadline to it.
Well, I think it'll be a lot quicker than that, but I'll say a week or two.
Oh, okay. Give yourself a little headroom there. That's okay. No, that'd be nice. The TuneIn app is nice. I use it to listen to radio stations all over the country. Like there's some in Michigan that I still like to listen to. The radio in my truck actually doesn't work, so I'm usually streaming audio from wherever I want, and I use the TuneIn app to listen to sports and stuff. You can get ESPN radio and all kinds of things. That TuneIn app is nice.
That is one thing I wanted to ask you about, because we've discussed the data plans before on phones. When you stream audio, how much is that taking away from your data?
Well, it depends. Not much. I stream, like I just said, I stream a lot. Like if I'm in the vehicle, sometimes I'll be streaming audio, so I can several hours a day. And I'll maybe use 500 megs in a month. But it depends on the quality of the stream that you're listening to.
Well, like my stream, it's 128 bits, so.
Right, and that's towards the low end actually, because that's just CD quality.
Yeah.
Just.
And I've had a lot of people saying that I'm streaming too high, so.
Well, I mean, you need that bandwidth to be able to get, now that you got the soundboards and everything, and we actually got the sound good, you kind of need it. But I understand that, too. Like, one of the ones I listen to, one of the stations I listen to, it has a 64 kbps stream, and so I'll listen to that one a lot. So, I mean, 500 megs might not be a representation of what you use. What you can do, though, is like I know the iPhone does it. I know Android does it. There's also other apps that you can get. Like on my phone, I use My Data Manager is the app that I use to keep track of my data. It has a nice widget that I can view in real time, what the data I've used is, and you can tell it to sync up, or to be to cycle on your plan cycle, so that you can know, if you have a certain amount of data you can use a month, you can keep an eye on that. It'll tell me what my projected usage for the month is, and it'll also tell me by app how much data I've used. And I think the iPhone has that built in. I know Android has it built in also. If you have Ice Cream Sandwich, at least, that's Android 4.0, 4.1 or higher, then that's already built in. And so, yeah, stream, for a half hour, and then, see what your data usage was before, and then check after, and then you can kind of gauge from there. But it's not nearly as much as streaming YouTube videos and things like that. Nowhere near as much.
Yeah, that is one thing I'm working on for 2013 is, we've discussed it off the show before, is I plan on adding different streams and different bit rates so people of different technologies will be able to hear the show.
Yeah, for whichever way they consume their digital media, that we're going to make it available to them that way. No, the Spreaker app is a great start, and you're getting there, step by step. you know. So you can't always be all things all at once. And also, for you, it's been the learning process, and you're doing an awesome job. I mean, like you said in the last show that I told you what to do to your page, but that's not what I did. I just said, this is what you want to get out of it, and I showed you examples, and then you ran with it. So, I mean, you're doing all the work. It's not, I'm not no discredit to yourself there at all. You're doing a really good job and coming a long way real fast, and that's a good thing. But
Yeah,
yeah, we're working on that. That's definitely what needs to happen, is be able to, especially when you start doing video, so we can download the video in whatever format you want, and then in the audio whatever format you want. And that's going to be great. Because I
yeah,
mean, that's what you need to do when you're doing podcasting. Is
yeah. I've always
here's our media in whatever format you want. Come get it however you want, because that's what makes it so much better than just plain old TV or just radio.
yeah, I've always considered the Spreaker the stepping stone, and it does do good, but it's the beginning, not the end of where I want to be.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the beauty of being a small business. You're more nimble. Um, you can make your own choices on what you do, and then I mean, away you go. You're living the American dream there, Jack.
Yeah, I plan on getting away from Spreaker and having my own audio programs, streamed through my own servers, and big ideas, big ideas.
Yep, yep. I mean, and that's just you learn by doing. So um, that's that's the best way, I think. You can only sit and read so much. I mean, once you get your hands on something, then that's when you really start taking off.
Yeah, I just skip the reading part and dive in. Well, I want to thank
I
it. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I used to do that too, but now it seems like I know this Christmas that's what I did. All the toys that I got, I got several little remote control helicopters. I read the manuals while I was waiting for them to charge up, so just to see if there was something that wasn't obvious just by looking at it.
Yeah, well, I will admit that I went and read my mixer manual and didn't learn a thing that I didn't already know. So, I mean, it would have helped me if I'd done it before I started with it, but there's no point in going back.
Right, right. No point in crying over spilt milk.
But I want to thank everybody for tuning in and check out Greenville IT and Ian Bible. He does a great job, and he leads me in the right direction. We'll say. But
That's what I try to do.
tune in tomorrow as we'll be live at the Hyperion with the Overtime Show with Cody and Cody. And I think tomorrow they have a guest, but it hasn't been set in stone yet. But tune in tomorrow at 7 o'clock live. I want to thank everybody for tuning in.